usually want this section of us talking about Nicki to be us centering the Barbz, because for those of us who have already caught on a while ago, we weren't shocked. I don't know a single person aside from the Barbz who was shocked by this. Oh, you think it's a pretty color? You like the lip gloss? Look at the link. Look at the link. It's Tower 28. But no, the Barbz are going through it. And I actually wanted to censor them because I know we make fun of the Barbz a lot. I know we clown them for their fandom. But the truth is, the Barbz are a bunch of misfits, queer kids, outcasts who thought they found someone who understood them in Nicki, right? They thought they found someone who made them feel valuable, somebody who made them feel like they were taking their power back. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not a Barb, but sometimes when I would listen to Nicki Minaj songs, I would suddenly feel like the most powerful bitch in the room. Nicki in her prime was incredibly empowering, in the same way that Jay-Z used to be for niggas who are now in their 50s, right? So there's something about Nicki that is very akin to Hove and even Kanye in his prime. And I'm never going to lie about her. I'm never going to lie about her, right? And so, yeah, she love bombed them. If I was a little gay boy who felt like shit and Nicki told me that there was a little gay boy named Roman living inside of her, and Roman was a badass who felt like, fuck y'all, I still matter. I don't have to unalive myself. I don't have to hide in the shadows. I can be weird and make funny faces and make noises. I'm sure a lot of Nicki's fans are neurodivergent, whether they've been diagnosed or not. All the social misfits who, in the same vein as Lady Gaga's fandom, found a home in Nicki. And so the empathetic part of me that cares about people outside of these fandoms that like to sector themselves off, the humanistic side of me is heartbroken. I'm heartbroken that some of those Barbs are now waking up this morning realizing that they were led astray and that they were just a cash grab. Some of those Barbs have now been brainwashed and are going to be talked into justifying nasty bigotry because they feel an allegiance to this woman and what she meant to them when they were 11 and 12 years old. And some of the Barbs have, congratulations, come to their senses and recognize immense talents. Immense talent when it comes to the arts does not mean that you are psychologically safe or intellectually sound. The third group, congratulations on the clarity. The first two groups, my heart goes out to you, sincerely. So we're going to censor the Barbs during this next compilation because I want you guys to get a taste of, and mind you, going into Barb's territory to do this compilation, the kids are not all right.
Nicki Minaj has truly been...
Oh, by the way, we're going to start off with a video from just 2 weeks ago. This young man made this video 2 weeks ago. I can't remember the last time a video aged so poorly. Somebody look at the tags. I always make sure to include the TikTok. Somebody look at his page and see if he's okay. Because I have meetings all day. I can't. This aged so poorly. I'm embarrassed for him.
Such a huge supporter of the LGBTQ community. And to see so many people try to make it seem as if she's transphobic or as if she's homophobic is really crazy. And to see a lot of the Barbs say that, oh, I could never support Nicki Minaj because she supports Donald Trump and she's homophobic and transphobic is crazy to me. Nicki Minaj.
Did you hear that? 2 weeks ago, he was saying Nicki Minaj being called transphobic and homophobic is crazy to me. Oh, honey. Is it true that she had her fans desecrate a grave? Allegedly. Somebody said, what stage of grief is this? This was the denial before the obvious. But let's let him cook. We're only showing the first minute or so of his video because it's embarrassing if you watch the entire thing, how wrong he ends up being. But I want you to see where her stands were as of the top of December.
Literally has a gay boy living in her named Roman. Nicki has literally shown support to transgenders, to studs, to people who like to dress in drag, to all types of people. She's done music with people in the LGBTQ community. So to say that Nicki Minaj is transphobic or homophobic is crazy. So if Nicki Minaj is so homophobic, mind you, Nicki Minaj know that more than 50% of her fan base is gay, lesbian, LGBTQ, some type of homo. With Nicki Minaj knowing that, how could y'all really say that she don't like the LGBTQ community? Nicki Minaj literally canceled her Saudi Arabia show to show support for the LGBTQ community. And y'all got the nerve to sit up here and say that she doesn't support y'all, or that she's transphobic or homophobic.
16 paranoia-filled days later.
Be boys. It's nothing wrong with being a boy.
She's not homophobic or transphobic, but she's in a room full of MAGA talking about boys will be boys, so be happy being a boy. Did y'all already forget when Nicki used to cosplay as being bisexual? Oh, somebody posted it. Nicki, I take dick from pedophiles, Minaj. Oops, sorry. I was supposed to be behaving. Allegedly. She tried to convince y'all she was bi to make some money, and then decided to call herself an ally instead because she didn't want to kiss no girls. And y'all are acting as if her ability to be performative for clout is something new and has not already happened. Oh, yeah, she did. I had videos of it, but I didn't want to.
How about that?
Amen.
How powerful is that? How profound is that?
Who the fuck calls themselves powerful and profound? Who says boys will be boys? It's okay to be a boy. How powerful is that? How profound is that? Martin Luther's ain't got nothing on me. By the way, complete ADHD aside, I've always wanted to do a spoof band called Martin and the Luthers. I think it'd be amazing. This is another thing about me wearing eyeliner. I always look so Asiatic when I put on eyeliner. I'm always trying to make my eyes look bigger, but the minute I put on eyeliner, well, I look like Nicki Minaj actually. Oof. She's a beautiful woman. I'm not coming for her. I'm just saying. Somebody said, is it crack? There's a video that I chose not to show of Nicki and her husband where I question their sobriety. By the way, guys, I'm just putting on some mascara. I'm not putting on a bunch of makeup. If you came here for a full face, again, I just don't want to look homeless. That's all. So I've done my face. I'm gonna put on some blush so I look like I was running outside, and I'm gonna put on some mascara, and that's it. Actually, I might, if we have time, use some of this dark burgundy eyeliner and try to play around with adding some red to my lashes so that it matches my hair when it's down. But if we ever do a get ready with me, just understand, I like my natural face, so we're not going to do much more than whatever the fuck this is, okay? I hate to disappoint. I know some of the girls be putting on layers, right? And it's artwork. You are Picasso, bitch. That's a whole new face. I ain't got that in me. Apologies.
Erica Kirk today did a surprise interview with Nicki Minaj. You can see there Erica bringing on Nicki Minaj to the stage. But I took notes of the interview and what Minaj said because I think it's actually very instructive of how Republicans treat celebrities.
Oh, this is level setting. For anybody who was able to somehow skirt around all the... Nicki is an actress, by the way. Nicki went to school to be an actress. There's videos of her literally pretending to be the person she would end up being. So was Tupac, actually. Tupac was an actor, and that's a whole other video for another time about my thoughts around who Tupac really was. But Nicki was an acting student, and so I don't think you guys realize that Roman isn't the only cosplay she's doing. I think Nicki Minaj is cosplay. The character Nicki Minaj, I think, is cosplay, just as much as Roman.
And the ultimate grift of both Turning Point and Nicki Minaj. As you saw there in the photo, Erica brought Nicki Minaj on stage. Minaj starts off by saying that she's honored to be there, and then they immediately start attacking Gavin Newsom. Yep. Nicki Minaj calls Gavin Newsom Gavin Newscum.
For anybody who's wondering, why does Nicki Minaj, this is a little bit of political tea that I've already done before, so the OGs bear with me for repeating myself. And if you're wondering, why do I keep layering the powder? It's because when I'm under harsh lights for a lot of hours, and I'm about to do 4 hours of tapings today, the first thing to melt is under my eyes. So I've gotten into the habit of layering my, I did forget to show you. This is my Laura Mercier pressed powder. I'm not a makeup girly, but if there's one product I will always buy when I start wearing makeup again, it will always be the Laura Mercier pressed powder. Oh, yeah, when y'all were doing banana powder and looking crazy, Laura Mercier pressed powder, I think it's the one thing I didn't add, so maybe I'll add it to the thingy. It's amazing because it works like no other, and it feels very, very like silky soft. All right, so For those of you who are here for the makeup and the tea, just wanted to shout that out.
Which is Donald Trump's kind of favorite.
But Gavin Newsom, sorry. Gavin Newsom is considered by the Republicans to be the white Obama. The only thing more dangerous to the GOP than Obama, because if Obama ran for a third term, he would win. They've done polls. If Michelle Obama ran for a first term, she would win. Although I've been told by many of her friends in the industry that, and by industry I mean politics, I've been told many of her friends that there's not a chance in hell she hates politics. The Obamas are kryptonite to the Republican Party. Gavin Newsom is considered the white Obama. If a biracial black man is kryptonite, the only thing scarier than him is the white version of him. So if you're wondering why Gavin Newsom from the state of California, where I live, is such public enemy number one, and why California is pissing off the Trump so bad in his administration, it's because they already know that if Gavin Newsom runs next year, they are in trouble. Not next year, next whatever, they're in trouble. Oh yeah, and he's fine. That's part of why they call him the white Obama. So I've got a lot of people saying to me, Blue, why are they so focused on California's got, like, what's going on? It's because the polls have said if this man runs, then everybody from MAGA is in trouble. And because he's also white, they can't do the racial dog whistles that they did with the Obamas. So whether you like Gavin or not, it's between him and the Antichrist. Okay?
Third name for him, told Gavin Newsom to tread lightly, and then repeatedly called him Gavi Poo. She said, Gavi Poo, be warned, etc. Very bizarre start to that conversation. Nicki Minaj then gets into how much respect and admiration she has for Donald Trump. She said this specifically: he has given us a chance to beat the bad guys and let the good guys win. Interesting. She went on about how Trump and J.D. Vance are smart, strong, and powerful men, and really was quite lavish in her praise of Trump and Vance. But Erica Kirk asked Nicki Minaj, why politics now? Why are you getting involved? I think it actually gives us some really good insight into what Nicki Minaj's motivations are in this. But she asked, why are you involved? Nicki Minaj said, well, I'm getting involved in politics because I'm tired of being pushed around, and that it seems like we're not allowed to have an opinion anymore, a different opinion, or speak our minds. Well, you have this massive platform that you're speaking on now, Nicki, so I'm not sure that's entirely true. But it's interesting, she says, I'm tired of being pushed around. And I genuinely think that this whole thing for Nicki Minaj stemmed from her beef with Megan Thee Stallion.
Do you know how fragile you have to be? That because you weren't able to bully Megan Thee Stallion using her dead mother as a punchline? Because you weren't able to bully Megan Thee Stallion, and she had a bar in a diss track to you that did numbers, you are so fucking fragile that you've come undone and now painted yourself as the victim. Because Megan's Law. Megan's Law got you this fucked up. You know that if you don't marry a pedo, I'm just saying, there was ways to avoid this, my friend.
And when Megan had the line about Megan's Law, implying that Nicki Minaj's husband was an abuser. Now, I'm not going to go into all of that, but I honestly think that is what cooked Nicki Minaj's brain and sent her down this kind of right-wing rabbit hole.
I ain't gonna say too much because I know how y'all get about that pink wig lady, but showing up at a Turning Point USA event, meanwhile, Turning Point USA is the same people who gonna be responsible for teaching kids that slavery was beneficial. Ooh. And they're actively committed to the destruction of Black and queer communities, is indeed a choice. But hey, I digress.
This past weekend, Turning Point USA just held what my friend Lauren has been affectionately calling Kirkchella in Arizona. It was the Turning Point America Fest. Anyway, Nicki Minaj was there, and she publicly on stage not only endorsed Donald Trump and MAGA, but also said that Black women need to stop blaming white women for everything.
If we felt like that as Black women, why would we want to do that to other women?
This pissed me off. Sorry, guys. I'm putting some of the red. You can't see it because I'm in my walk-in closet right now, but I'm putting some of the red from this. This is a trick for girls who dye their hair red. It is the e.l.f. Smoky Kohl eyeliner in this like dark burgundy color. A little bit of burgundy. You probably can't tell, but it will show up on camera. A little bit of burgundy when you have red hair in your brows immediately ties it together. It like softens the black, right? So I know this looks weird, but putting red, dark red in your brows with a little bit of dark brown, my makeup artist taught me that. Now back to Nicki. Nicki went on a large rant that I didn't want to post too much of. I'm debating if I want to do false lashes. I really don't feel like doing false lashes. I know that false lashes would make me look more glam, but then I'm just going to wash it off right afterwards. Carl's going to get whatever he gets, y'all. But Nicki came on a huge rant in a room full of mostly white people talking about how Black women are basically haters because we blame everything on white women. You guys like it no lashes? Oh, wow. Y'all really like the natural look. My people. Nothing wrong with glam, guys. I'm not saying I'm one of those people who shames girls for wearing makeup. I'm not one of those. But no, my lashes are so small, guys. This is mascara, child. I got tiny lashes. I'm gonna think about doing some lash liner. What do they call it? Lash serum to see if I can grow my lashes out. Honestly, I probably am gonna end up putting on. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. Anyways, guys, Nicki talking shit about Black women in a room full of white people and Black conservatives next to Charlie Kirk's hyper blonde wife. That level of coonery, to be this big of a star and tell white women not to listen to Black women because we're being haters who are blaming them for how insecure we are.
Why would we now need to make other people downplay their beauty?
I am going to pray, hoping.
By the way, I actually bought some Grande Lash. It's somewhere in my boxes because, I'm moving. I will be using it. Thank you for the reminder. I forgot that I bought it thanks to TikTok Shop. Fucking eating my wallet every day.
Pray that this puts the Nicki Minaj stans in the gay community finally in their place. Because whether it is Nicki clinging to the MAGA movement and Donald Trump for some shred of relevancy, or the fact that she's married to a offender, a high school aged girl with a knife, a girl that Nicki knew, or the fact that Nicki paid for her brother's legal fees after he a 12-year-old girl and then paid for a private investigator to stalk and harass said 12-year-old girl.
I had to cover Nicki for, which one of these is the blush brush? Powder brush. I had to cover Nicki's brother's case when I was working as media, as press, and this is all true, guys. She's not lying. Nicki not only financed her brother's court case, she also allegedly, according to the victims, hired people to harass the people that her husband assaulted, allegedly. On her brother's behalf and her husband's behalf. In fact, the young girl that her husband allegedly assaulted said that her daughter was at a club one time and was hanging out, and she was with a group of friends feeling safe, and her daughter saw somebody approach her, and the person walked up to her daughter and said, "Tell your mother to keep her mouth the fuck shut." Imagine being a young girl at a party with friends, a grown man walks over to you, you think he's trying to get your number or just be a regular perv, and you find out that it's a hit man on behalf of Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty coming to threaten you because he's been watching you for weeks. So I just need you to know how dark this gets. I need you to understand just how dark this really gets. Those who are saying apply mascara after curling, I didn't buy a curler, guys. Sephora got enough of my fucking money.
Barbz, I need you to be so fucking for real. Bottom line is this washed up, transphobic, homophobic, grifting, PDF file defending weirdo has gotta go. And gay club DJs, I need you to expeditiously get her off of your fucking playlist.
You have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president.
Amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president.
On my page, I've been posting since September a Nicki verse every single day because she said her new album is going to be dropping in March 27th, 2026. And I want to set the record straight with my content, who I am, and what I'll be continuing to post. So I absolutely
Okay, guys, I think we have our first miss. The blush that I ordered that they ran out of that's linked is Raisin by MAC. I've been using Raisin Blush by MAC for years. Highly, highly recommend it. They ran out of it, and so she substituted it with this Juvia's Place blush that everybody and their mother is always telling me to buy from Juvia's Place, and my makeup artist has used it on me before, and I love what I've seen. But this blush is a little bit too red for me. Yeah, Raisin is the OG. Raisin is more muted. This blush is a little bit too blushy for me. I look like somebody smacked the shit out of me. I look like somebody smacked the shit out of me. What the fuck? You know what? It is what it is, child.
stand against everything that Donald Trump and their regime stands for. That's not who I am. I've never supported it. I will continue to not support it and work against it. On the same side of that coin, two things.
Wait, not on the same side of the coin. Do you hear how this Barbz is saying, I've been posting a Nicki verse every single day since she announced that her album was coming out on March, whatever. Did he miss the part where she said, never mind? If you're a Barbz, how do I know that? And you don't, you're a Barbz. Anyways, this young man is saying he has been posting her verses every day leading up to March for the album release that's not going to be released. That alone should have told you that his discernment is off. But now he's saying, I don't stand by anything MAGA, even though I look like I am MAGA, like I'm a typical MAGA looking person. For those of you who are saying it's pretty, thanks. I barely put any on though. The fact that I just touched my cheek lightly and it's this pink, Raisin, you can lay that shit. So Juvia, I'm sure you're great. And the colors are pretty. The colors are very pretty. It's just this is a little bit pinker than I wanted, because I already have pink lips, right? But when someone makes a point that should be the end of the sentence, and then says, but on the other side, two things can be true. Unless you are someone who is well versed in nuance. Somebody said Juvia is always pigmented. Oh, okay. Yeah. If I had known Juvia was this pigmented for how little I put on my cheeks, if y'all understood how little I put on, you'd be shocked that you could see this much. Thank you for letting me know for next time. When somebody makes a great point like this and they keep going, I get nervous that they're about to take back everything they said. And unfortunately, this young man did.
Can be true at once. Nicki Minaj is the greatest female rapper to ever live, and until somebody steps their game up to beat her, I will be listening to her music.
Ooh.
Have I ever looked to Nicki Minaj for political advice? No. Will I start doing that now? No. But I just want to put this out there and have that nuance with focusing on the music. I want Nicki Minaj to start focusing on the music because the album's coming. There hasn't been a lead single. We don't have.
So we're going to pretend that her music is not her heavily talking about her views. We're going to pretend that she hasn't already mentioned Donald Trump in songs. Why are you acting like it's Nicki Minaj versus the music when Nicki Minaj's personality and her politics and her thoughts about life have always been included in her music? How are you saying the word nuance, but acting as if you don't actually understand what it means and ironically missing the nuance in your own fucking argument? Stick to y'all day job. Not everybody is meant to be a social commentarian. Not everybody's meant to be a social commentarian. All right, let me continue with my powder on.
The cover art. I want the focus to be on the music, and that's what I'm trying to do with my page, is bring the focus back to the music.
You guys, they didn't give me my powder. My NW45 isn't in here. I was supposed to set all this with my actual powder. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Y'all, I don't have any powder. Okay, I'm going to have to DoorDash it. Sorry. Fuck.
Look, I said this before. I said it once. I'll say it again. It's still Team Nicki Minaj over here. I'm sorry. If you feel hit, keep on.
Not they said, still Team Nicki Minaj, I don't give a fuck. Somebody said, use my Laura Mercier. You know what? My Laura Mercier actually is my exact skin color. Y'all are good. Look at y'all helping me out. Maybe I was supposed to do this live while getting ready so y'all can help me save me from myself. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna just use Laura Mercier.
I'm scrolling. Now, listen, I understand that, people don't agree what's been going on with her political views, her being a Trump supporter or not. Listen, I don't know if she is, and honestly, truthfully, I don't care. I have never been into politics. I don't care. I did a video about this a few days ago,
You're
or
a
like
black
a week or so
woman.
ago, and about people being mad at her because her doing this thing with politics and her apparently being a Trump supporter. If she is, okay, go ahead. But if she's not, that's amazing as well. But me, I don't give a fuck about all that. Bitch, give me the music.
Nicki Minaj, you have officially crossed the line. I am a long-time Barb, so before any of the Barbs try to come at me and say that I'm...
Now, hold on. Now, his makeup tutorial would be something. You want to talk about a look that I want to see how he got ready? Sir, there's a lot going on. And for her to say she's not into politics as a black woman in America in 2025 is... thank you. Her mere existence is political. Y'all be sounding so dumb.
A hater of Nicki. I don't like Nicki. I'm literally wearing the merch I got from going from her tour twice. Also a signed CD up there. Now, I'm very much so a proud Barb. For the past year, it has been so hard to continue my support to Nicki Minaj because of the way she's supporting the current administration right now. I have saw past, you know, her husband, and I have never condoned that, and I never really liked him. I never supported that at all, and I was just like, you know what, it is what it is. I love Nicki Minaj, so that's something I'm willing to look past.
You're willing to look past pedophilia? As a blatantly queer man wearing bright lime green lip liner, eyeshadow, and the glossiest of glosses, and a dangly earring, you are willing to look past assault when you are a poster child for the kind of person who would get beat up by Kenneth and his friends. The stories y'all tell yourselves to justify shit that is unjustifiable will never cease to amaze me.
I'm not saying it's a good thing to look past at all. However, I was a hardcore Barb. I still am a hardcore Barb. I love Nicki down. Her music has helped me so much throughout.
She doesn't love you, baby. She doesn't love you. I feel like I'm talking to Mariah, the scientist, all over again when I take her hand and says, he doesn't love you. You're convenient. Nicki doesn't love you. These poor babies.
My teenage coming out era and just like everything. She's helped me so much through her music, and she has empowered me and makes me feel empowered. So to see her support this administration that goes against everything that I am is so disheartening. I'm not wanting to do this with Nicki Minaj, but I have to separate the art from the artist, and it sucks. It sucks.
Nicki Minaj being a Trump supporter is probably one of the less shocking things I have heard this year. And that's simply because if you've been paying attention, I feel like the cracks really started to show in 2020 when she made those comments about the COVID virus and about her cousin. I can't even repeat what she said about her cousin, but you just had to be there. In 2022 or 2023, the Barbz linked up with known white supremacist Ben Shapiro to diss Megan Thee Stallion together. Then on top of that, I don't really remember her saying anything about Kamala Harris last year during her entire campaign. Look, it's been coming. This has been approaching. If you were to ask my opinion on if I think she's being serious or not, I would tell you that I honestly feel she is 50%.
For the person who said, Blue, I love your ring liner. I cannot for the life of me figure out how you do it. I didn't. It's just the shape of my eyes, guys. I don't know how to do wing liner. I just follow the shape of my eyes. I do not know how to do any makeup techniques. I just follow. Sorry. I agree it's hard, but if my eyes weren't shaped like this, it would, yeah.
% dead serious and also 50% grifting. This is giving grift. And I'm sure a lot of y'all who have been in online political spaces, you'd agree with me because we can spot grifts a mile away. It has that sense of desperation, trying to get as much of attention as possible. Like it's the tweet after tweet, the retweets, heavy interaction with right-wing political figures. Like we've seen this before. Candace Owens did it. Jeffree Star's doing it.
Yes, Mitson said, Blue, please talk about if there was ever a time to separate the art from the artist. Yes, perfect example. If the art has some value of improving the world that is astronomical and has a depth to it, right? And the artist has in any way evolved. Perfect example. I'm about to play a clip for you guys soon about how back in the day, Malcolm X came out against Lena Horne and Dick Gregory for being puppets of white supremacy. One could argue that the work that Dick Gregory, and full disclosure, I went to India with Dick Gregory's daughter, Ayanna Gregory, so there is some personal connection there. The work that Dick Gregory did for the many decades after Malcolm X pointed that out, the impact he had, the truth to power that he spoke when Malcolm, Martin, and Medgar were all dead. To me, the value of that outweighs whatever sins of coonery that Malcolm X might have thought that he was guilty of. And so it's math, right? If you are harmful at a 6 and your contribution is a 9, I can separate the art from the artist. But if you are harmful at a 9 and the art is a 9, I have to let you go because we're at 0. Yes, Dick Gregory evolved. Yeah. So one could see the clip I'm about to play in a couple of minutes and be like, oh, fuck Dick Gregory. But he evolved and had a value that was bigger than that moment. So yeah, it's math. I always do math. I'm gonna be honest. I do math in relationships too. If I am annoyed by doing something at a 20%, because I did a lot of black nerdy fine niggas who like anime. I'm not an anime girl. But if it annoys me at 20% to have to lay there with you and watch anime, but it brings you joy at 80%, I'm willing to deal with 20% of annoyance to bring my man 80% joy. Because his joy far surpasses how I'm being inconvenienced. If something offends me at 80% and you love it at 80%, we're going to have to hang out another day, right? So it's math. The answer to that is it's math. I think what R. Kelly did is a perfect example of R. Kelly's impact in my childhood and the music industry was heavy-handed, and his destruction was also heavy-handed. Just do the math, guys. Your favorite autistic, just do the math.
Charlie Kirk was the master of this. I can just tell, like, her heart is not in it, but her pockets are in it. And the economy is rough for everybody. So that's why I feel like this is a grift. And people that are about to come in the comments and be like, Nicki's a millionaire. She doesn't need that money. Don't underestimate how much the right is willing to pay you to be their talking head. I remember when I got on this app in 2020, people were mistaking me for Christian Walker. A popular political hype house DM'd me asking me to make content for them in exchange for $500 to $2,000 a month with the potential for that to grow.
By the way, being a PDF file, I love when y'all use that language, is definitely a 10. Full stop, it's a 10. There's no math, it's a 10.
As my account grew. I was a teenager at the time. I am really shocked I didn't take it. I gotta be honest. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought about it.
So this man is saying that because he was, he does look like Christian, because he was mistaken for that young man who's that right-wing talking head, he was offered $500 to $2,000 a month as a kid to do right-wing content. If they're offering that to a nobody kid who they mistook for somebody else, what do you think they're offering Nicki Minaj? Before we realized who Trump fully was, what did Nene always say when she was on Trump? I mean, when she was on The Apprentice, she's like, "Baby, I'm getting Trump checks. I have Trump money." I don't think you guys understand just how rich the GOP is. All that oil adds up. I also have a suspicion, because somebody said, Blue, you keep on saying it's because he's a pedophile and she's trying to get a pardon and the president can't give a pardon. First of all, Donald Trump doesn't listen to rules. So just because a president shouldn't technically give a pardon, the president shouldn't technically act like a king either. And yet here we are. So technicalities and propriety with a grain of salt when it comes to the Trump administration. Also, though, I was like, yes, she wants the covering of the GOP to keep her husband safe when he's within 500 feet of a school or a playground. But I was like, wait a minute. I suspect there's another reason why she's doing this. For her, not just for him, right? We're all working off of the premise that she's doing this for her husband. I did some research and I Googled one sentence. And the answer to that one sentence that I Googled has now been the seedling of what I suspect is Nicki's true reason. We're going to get to that in a second.
But again, I didn't really need the money. My house wasn't being attacked. My name wasn't being ripped apart in the media. My significant other is allowed to be at my child's school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. I'm not trying to be shady. But sometimes when you get desperate, you do things. And it's unfortunate that she is tarnishing her legacy. And people, unfortunately, are not going to look at her the same. But I'm trying to hold space for the Barbz because I was a Barb when I was like 11. And I really do get it because Nicki really did make a safe space for LGBTQ, specifically Black LGBTQ individuals. Like, she made a safe space for all of that. I think a lot of the Barbz are in denial, and it's okay. I'm gonna give y'all your space, but I think a lot of y'all need to start making that transition to become part of the Beehive, because we're really the cousin fan base.
Yes, April, we know that's the law. There's the law and there's Donald Trump. So yes, we know that's technically the law. I don't believe that statement stops Donald Trump from making phone calls. I don't believe that, because Nicki's from the state of New York. What is the state where Donald Trump flexes his abilities the most? New York. Nicki's from the very state where Trump on a non-federal level has shown that his corruption actually works. So yes, we know the technical rules. We're talking about the Trump administration. They don't care about technicalities like that. Just want to point that out to anybody else who wants to tell me the obvious. Yes, I know, and we're dealing with a different beast.
Anyway, and Beyonce loves the gays. So when y'all ready, pack your bags and come on over. You got one more act left, so we can mourn Nicki together.
Now, in the grand scheme of things, remember, she just left with Donald Trump to a United Nations meeting trying to speak out against the atrocities that are happening in Africa against Christians. It's not happening. There's no genocide in Africa against Christians. There's about 3 genocides going on right now, and none of them are about Christianity. Okay?
My repost was that, look, Nicki Minaj is a rapper, right? From Trinidad.
So I just want you to know, y'all acting like Nigerians are all like standing behind Nicki Minaj. No, they're not. There's Nigerians all over the place who are like, this is clearly a clout chase. Stop using us for a moment. And I will say this again. Saying that there is a genocide only against Christians in Nigeria is like saying that because me and Jessie Boo are 2 Haitian women who were one demographic of Black women who were being attacked on Threads means that Threads is attacking Haitian women would be an oversimplified misrepresentation, right? There are Christians who are amongst those who are being killed. Their Christianity is not the main sole reason. Black women on Threads are getting dragged every single day. Me and Jessie being the only 2 Haitians on a list that is mostly African Americans, it would be dishonest and incredibly manipulative to us to make it a Haitian issue just because we happen to be Haitian amongst women who are being attacked. It's the same thing for what's happening in Nigeria. Many people are being killed in Nigerian genocides for many reasons. Some of them happen to be Christian. Christianity isn't the... Okay. 1 + 1 is still 2. Okay.
But of Spain. That she should just concentrate on Anaconda rap music and what's that fans called? Barbz. This is not, as far as I'm concerned, she's chasing clout.
Now, would that be
the fact that Nigerian journalists are like, she has no idea what she's talking about. She's chasing clout. I just wanted to include that so you could see that I'm not just some Americanized Caribbean woman who's talking out of my ass. If you need to hear it from a Nigerian, Anaconda. I know, I love when he said that, right? She needs to stick to Anaconda.
being said, and we're also fully aware that on Christmas, football's halftime, child, I don't be watching that. Snoop Dogg is also doing a performance. Didn't he just do the inauguration for Trump?
Yeah. As somebody you guys know that I grew up on Death Row Records and Oprah Winfrey, which completely sums up my personality. Be careful what your kids consume. So as somebody who grew up listening to Tupac and watching Oprah, which is why I act like this, it hurts my heart that I have to distance myself from Snoop Dogg. It really does hurt my heart. Snoop Dogg Dog Pound was the first album I ever used my own money to buy. Oh, I just texted Bridget that we're running a little bit late. Let's see if she gives me some bail. Thank you for helping me telling me to check the time.
So when I talk about them trying to indoctrinate into the Black community and raise their Black percentage of voters, and I said it's been happening, I meant it's been happening.
Oh, the Nigerians have already named me. My Nigerian name is Chioma. They've already named me, child. My Nigerian name is Chioma, for those of you who are curious.
And y'all don't pay attention because you don't read nothing. Imagine our ancestors doing all that for us to be able to effing read legally in their society that we had to be fucking brought into. and you hoes aren't reading. Imagine that. Imagine my surprise when y'all are not reading or using critical thinking skills. After everybody who died to make sure everyone outside of cisgendered white male American-born men could get an American education.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics.
Yes, everybody, all the Nigerians have told me I'm Igbo. Child, I'm gonna get the test, okay? In 2026, guys, I promise I'm getting the African ancestry test so we can put this all to rest. If I end up being from Benin, y'all owe me an apology. If I end up actually being part Nigerian, then
Trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader.
Can we talk about that? Because Black Americans had to fight so hard to get any semblance of respect. The only place they would even let us have a voice was through the arts. And I'm a working class creative. I say that all the time. So I'm not downplaying the arts. But the fact that that's the only place. So we're having to rely on baseball players and singers, athletes, people who are not even being educated on these topics, even though they have immense value elsewhere, to be our leaders, even though they're not equipped to lead in that way. And now people like Harry Belafonte and Dick Gregory are having to do double duty because they won't let us have actual leaders. And if we do have actual leaders, they assassinate them. Ironically, like him, right? Ironically, he is a leader and they wouldn't even let him live. I remember Dick Gregory told his daughter Ayana, and I remember it was emotional when we were in India and we're talking about this, and she was like, my daddy talks about when they killed Malcolm. He was there. So just know, guys, using rappers to push and peddle uneducated false information to the Black community is nothing new. It's nothing new. And even the ones, the creatives who thought they were doing their best, still in retrospect, were spoon feeding us heaps and heaps of internalized anti-Blackness. When Quincy Jones used to be on TV talking about, I love all women. Why do y'all just focus on the fact that I date white women? I date all types of women. Okay, that's Quincy at 45. Quincy at 80 finally told the fucking truth. Quincy at 80, when the dementia made him honest, said, yeah, no, we intentionally went after white bitches. We intentionally went after white women in order to spite white men because we wanted to be them and compete with them. And how better can I compete with you than take your bitch? That's internalized anti-Blackness. Most of our heroes from a certain era are anti-Black as fuck in an internalized, subtle way that they did not have the education to clock. Uneducated creatives have been leading the movement for quite a while, and the educated leaders have been assassinated. That's why Nicki Minaj is part of a fucked up legacy that I can't stand behind. Let me chill out. Sorry, we're running late.
These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the Black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
No, because
James Earl Jones hated Black women. My God, that man hated us, child. Ooh.
this is actually really fucking weird. Nicki Minaj just showed up at Turning Point USA's America Fest for a cozy little Q&A with Erica Kirk, the new head of TPUSA. Yes, that Turning Point USA, the far-right youth org, the culture war factory. Nicki walks on stage saying she's honored to be here, then praises Donald Trump and JD Vance for being relatable. Relatable to who? Let's be clear. This is not some random appearance. This is the same Nicki Minaj who spoke at the United Nations with the Trump White House, has been posting Trump Truth Social screenshots, and is now openly aligning herself with the right-wing political infrastructure. And now she's doing events with the widow of Charlie Kirk, who literally just took over TPUSA after his assassination, and is openly...
I have never seen such a giddy widow. That might be a members only live that we do someday. I have never seen such a giddy widow in my life.
promising to fight and expand the movement. A rapper with tens of millions of followers standing on stage with one of the most aggressive conservative organizing machines in the country, and nobody's supposed to notice? Nobody's supposed to ask why a global music icon is suddenly being plugged directly into American far-right power networks? This is influence. This is normalization. And yeah, it's weird as hell. And if that doesn't set off alarm bells for you, you're not paying attention.
Well, that'll do it for me.
Shout out to the Barbz who are coming to their senses. I really do hurt for y'all because I understand why she means so much to y'all. I know we mock you sometimes, but I really do feel bad for y'all. I really do. Like, I love James Baldwin. Everything that I do, the way that I talk, the way that I research, the way that I confront anti-Blackness and everybody, including Black people, I get from James Baldwin. I've already figured out how imperfect he was and made peace with his humanity. So I'm clear about he's a man and he's flawed. But if I was to find out that he was like a white supremacist or some bullshit, they would find me crying by the river, child. So I can just imagine how y'all feel. It'd be devastating.
As someone who has experimented with all types of fashion, gender bending ass fashion, of course, in my formative years, I was a Barb. And my Barb friends consisted of weird ass little girls like myself, closeted little gay boys who weren't necessarily closeted.
Ooh, You Are My Baldwin is, don't make me cry. Y'all, first of all, I'm never going to receive that because that's crazy. That's big. Thank you, though. Y'all don't even understand. James Baldwin is, I feel about James Baldwin the way y'all be feeling about Beyonce. Quite literally. So again, Barbz, I get it. Trust me, I get it.
To us, some of which in adulthood are now trans women. Nicki Minaj coming out against trans kids or however the fuck, saying that the kids are being poisoned. It's like, I don't think, as someone who like was in middle school listening to you with my then homeboys, some of who are now girls, like this is the exact population that loves your guts. The kids, and it's not the adults. They loved you as kids. Yeah. You gave them an outlet as children, and actually, it's the being a Barb that made a lot of queer kids feel comfortable in their queerness. I'm telling you, because I was there. When you look at cult-like fan bases, typically they're so loyal and stay for the long haul. It's like the longevity of these fan bases. Because the person has given this outcast group an outlet to feel wanted, an outlet to feel accepted, an outlet to feel like there are people like themselves. Again, I know Nicki did that for queer kids.
Somebody said, I agreed my last bite of oxtails at lunch. Yo, unhand me. I have to wrap up this live.
Because I was standing in line with the queer kids like, I am interested to see how this plays out in the long run. Like, not right now. I don't expect anything to happen right now. But I feel like as she leans openly more into conservative waters, which she was always very conservative, I feel like openly, bitch, I'm Republican voting for Mitt Romney. You lazy bitches is fucking up the economy. Like, she literally said it. But I feel like if she goes more into leaning into like her... the Caribbean auntie she is, into her homophobia back. Like, in the long run, what is that going to do to like the Barbz and the fan base as a whole?
Nicki Minaj, they could never make me hate you, but you sure could. I think it's time to hang it up, flat screen. I'm over it. Is this the thanks that I get for being a Barb for too long? Is it my fault that Nicki's become a pawn? Like, I've been a Barb for like 40 years now.
Nicki, you see what happens when you train the kids to be empowered and now they're empowered against you? Because that was kind of, she ate that. Wow.
I like literally I'm 28, turning 29 this week. And I became a Barb when I was 14. Okay. I've been here. I've done that. And she's put me through the ringer. She's put me through everything. I gave her everything. And this is the last straw, I guess. Bye.
I just read a Barbz say that if anyone was going to ruin Nicki Minaj's career, it was going to be Nicki Minaj. No other girl, no other person in the business could ruin her career but her. And that's so true.
Her aligning herself with Turning Point USA in the far right, she just came out on stage at a national convention with Erica Kirk, and I just have to say, it's gone way, way too far. There's no coming back from this. And I know the Barbz are always like, y'all always say that there's no coming back for Nicki, but she comes back every time. This is not the other times.
This is different.
Even me, someone who refuses to talk about Nicki most of the time because I don't want the headache of having to deal with the Barbz. This is too far. And I'm not to try to appeal to the Barbz, but I like to even think that Barbz know that fascism is bad.
Yeah.
Even Barbz know this.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really all that surprised given her antics recently, but I am just confused because, girl, you don't have to do this.
I mean,
She does have to do this. Y'all, I have a theory. I'm gonna let this play because I'm running late and Bridget's giving me some grace to wrap this up, but I have a theory. Hey, boys and girls, do me a favor. Google, is Nicki Minaj an American citizen? Google, is Nicki Minaj an American citizen? Right. Me and Nicki have a lot in common. One of the things we have in common is we came to this country as a child, and it took a lot for us. Well, only one of us did it for us to become citizens. One of us failed. The other one is me. It took my mother 23 years and 2 bankruptcies to gain my citizenship. Because I asked myself, I said, Blue, what is the only way that Donald Trump could even have a chance of getting you to take any sort of payout from him? It wouldn't be your integrity. It wouldn't be clout. It wouldn't be anything. What is the only thing that could strike fear in your heart enough to make you even consider listening to him? And let's say you're someone who's so emotionally fragile, it couldn't be your nigga because you would do whatever it takes for you to be okay before him. And I said, well, bitch, the only thing that Donald Trump could ever do to scare me like that would be to take away my citizenship. And so I said, now, hold on. No. Because I've been a citizen for a very long time. Those laws are from back in a long time ago. Nicki's a citizen too. It's hard to take it away from somebody who already has it. The only way that would even be a thing is if she didn't have it at all. But Nicki has to be a citizen, so I Googled, is Nicki Minaj a citizen? And suddenly all this makes fucking sense. Fuck Kenneth Petty. An unevolved Sag will always look out for themselves.
I was playing.
Nicki Minaj has gone full-blown MAGA on Twitter, or X, right? And I think it's because she's scared of deportation. She is starting to get worried with this immigration policy because, mind you, she's been in the United States since she was 5 years old, and she's still not a citizen. And pre-COVID, she even talked about how hard it is to get citizenship in this country. You can be a multi-millionaire. You can be a celebrity. And it's still a hard process to get citizenship. It's easier just to renew your green card, right? She has gone so far to turn against her own fan base. She literally, the LGBTQ is like her ride or dies, right? They do all her dirty work for her, right? And she went on to say that trans people are not normal.
Yes, they are planning to deneutralize a lot of people. So even citizenship, some of us are not safe. Yes, unless you are working with them. The only way that they can't take away the citizenship you did have or deport you for not having it at all is if you work with them. That is literally the only place you are 100% safe, guys.
They're not normal. Which I don't even think that Nicki Minaj really was for the gays anyway.
I don't either.
Just based on the fact that she is Caribbean. No tea, no shade. But yeah, she's turned on her own fan base. Nicki Minaj is seeing all these people being deported. People are going to their immigration meetings and, they're here legally. They have the paperwork to be here, but they're going to their immigration meetings and being deported. I've seen a man, he was married to a Canadian woman. He also voted for Trump, and she was deported for a charge that she got 20 years ago, a misdemeanor. They are getting people out of here.
If law-abiding citizens who are looking to become actual citizens of this country are getting deported for minor offenses, What do you think happens to people who are not citizens at all? Particularly those who have a long history of potentially coercing victims and harboring people who have committed heinous crimes and have been convicted of said crimes. If Nicki Minaj, I will say this, the part where I knew something was off was that Nicki didn't say anything pro Kamala. And the time, like at the exact time that she was talking about how much Black women are, you know, always under attack. Her shield has always been, I'm a Black woman, you need to look out for Black women. So when an actual Black woman ran for president, who is Caribbean just like her, and she said nothing, because Nicki is a Caribbean who clearly has some little bit of Coolie or Asian background, right? And I know that's a slur, so I apologize, but there are a lot of people in Trinidad and Jamaica who have Asian and or Indian backgrounds. I thought Kamala would be the person that Nicki would be the most excited about. And I always thought myself thinking, this is probably the candidate you should have been standing for the most. Why haven't you said anything? She's a bad bitch who with similar mixed Caribbean heritage. Why did you say nothing about Kamala? And then you got quiet, and then you went for Trump. And then I realized, oh, honey, Nicki is covering her own ass. We thought she was covering her husband. You underestimate how selfish Nicki is. I don't think this is about her husband anymore. I think it helps her husband because it'd be nice if they could go to Chuck E. Cheese for her baby's birthday one of these years, you know? So I think her husband is the icing. I think Nicki covering her own ass is the cake. And guess who is a citizen and can't be deported? Cardi B.
And she is very nervous. She's also had a charge years ago, and her husband is a habitual offender. He's a sex offender, right? So I think that she's starting to get a little bit worried. So she's trying to build connections with the Trump administration to secure her spot in the United States of America. This may work for her or it may not. I wouldn't be surprised.
For those who are surprised, yeah, I've been told Cooley's a slur, and I'm just going to respect it. I'm just going to respect it. So, yeah. If you tell me something's a slur, I ain't got to say it ever again, child. I'm not going to fight to unintentionally hurt people. But yeah, I just found out recently.
Trump's old freaky self wanted to sleep with her for that citizenship. But I don't know that this is the right method, considering look how the Trump administration did Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, they used her up and then threw her to the wolves. So it's like, you're pandering to this community for your own benefit, but they will use, they're racist and they don't like immigrants, right? And you're Black and you're an immigrant, so they don't like you. And they're going to use you just like J.D. Vance. And
child, they tried to deport, didn't they try to deport Slick Rick? The American government don't give a fuck. 21 Savage, didn't 21 Savage allegedly have to marry a lady so he wouldn't get deported? 21. What that mean? If this country really wants you out, they don't give a fuck. Respectfully.
Immediately, like once he saw that Nicki Minaj was on his side, started with the Nicki Minaj versus Cardi tweets, right? Mind you, Cardi, y'all always calling her Mexican, but she's here legally. She's a U.S. citizen. She ain't getting deported, right? They're just using her as a pawn. Look, there's a Black person that supports us, and she's a celebrity. Don't get treated like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Don't lose your whole fan base pandering to this administration. And then what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work and they deport you? And now you've lost your home here in the United States, your status, and then you lost your fan base. I don't know if this, I'm not a Barb. I've been stopped supporting her, but you know, I wonder what excuse they're going to make for her now.
Guys, that concludes me breaking the case. I do, though, because you guys know I am anti-diaspora wars. I'm just going to play one last video because I do feel like the deportation aspect might go a place that I don't want it to go. So before anybody says Nicki's just a dirty Black immigrant, sorry, she's not even Black because y'all don't even believe Black people exist outside of America for some reason. For the ADOS folks who are about to do that thing where you turn this into diaspora wars because Nicki is not an American citizen and is causing harm to Black people in America, I just need you to understand you can't play diaspora wars when it comes to hip-hop.
Now saying that Nicki Minaj is not like us and is an immigrant and does not belong in hip hop.
For anybody who's even thinking of making this argument, because y'all love to take something nuanced and make it into a big old melange of mess, yeah? You can never be anti-Black, anti-immigrant, or anti-Latin when it comes to hip-hop. I'm gonna say it one more time for the folks in the back. You can never, when it comes to hip hop, be anti-Black, anti-immigrant, or anti-Latin. I know y'all gonna try. I know y'all gonna thank you. We are Pan-African in this space, right? Power to the people and Viva la Raza simultaneously, because one is a race and the other one's an ethnic group, and they commingle all the time. Yeah?
All because she's Trinidadian. All while completely ignoring the fact that a Jamaican American man is considered the founder of hip hop.
Impossible. Oh, somebody wrote it down. How you gonna make this diaspora wars when is the Jamaicans and shit, it's the Caribbeans and the Latin, the Puerto Ricans and the Black Americans who all came to party together who created hip hop. Hip hop is Pan-African as fuck. I know y'all like to play this game, so I did not feel good telling you that I believe Bluecentric is a theory, not a fact. Her not being a citizen is a fact, though. Bluecentric think that Nicki's fears around immigration and her husband's cases in some way. Also, I do believe that her fragile ego, her being mad about that Megan's Law rule, that bar, right? I think it's a crock pot of fuckery that made Nicki do what she's doing. She found out that she couldn't bully the girls no more because of her husband. Didn't want to leave him, right? And she's an immigrant who could get deported, like Slick Rick, another hip-hop founding father. Yeah. And with all that being said, though, hip-hop is inherently Black, immigrant, Latin, and incredibly misogynistic as well. So if I'm going to look at the foundations, we got to look at all of it, good and bad. Good and bad. So let nuance be your friend when it comes to this topic. Don't be Nicki, ironically, by brushing everything in broad strokes based on ego rather than fact. Nicki Minaj is the perfect example of what happens when God has given you an extra dose of talent, an extra dose of work ethic, a double dose of blessings, and you let your hubris destroy it all. Nicki Minaj is her own demise. There's no one to blame but Nicki. And anybody who stands with her, and there are many of you. There are so many of you that I could have posted in this compilation that I didn't because I didn't want to. I'm trying to humanize the Barbz, and you guys would have made it hard to do so, okay? Some of y'all's videos would have made it hard not to do fan wars because you sounded so fucking stupid. So I saved you by not platforming you. I picked the most reasonable Barbz, okay? I picked the most reasonable Barbz. So I want to end on this note, guys. The phrase that I want you guys to write in the replay, because y'all know I like watching the replay comments, they make me happy, is that I wish Nicki Minaj loved her own Blackness so she wouldn't be a threat to ours. I wish Nicki Minaj truly loved her own Blackness so she wouldn't be such a massive threat to ours. That is the phrase that I want you to write in the comments, because ironically, she's making herself a trending topic for saying that Black women need to stop blaming white women for how insecure they are while sitting there with a manufactured body that she got because she hated herself. Not everybody who gets plastic surgery hates themselves, but Nicki Minaj has confessed that she got that surgery because the misogyny of hip hop, i.e. Lil Wayne, they used to drag her and clown her so much for being flat chested with no titties and no ass and no hips. She went out and bought body parts. So you've already confessed that your confidence is a facade. Unfortunately, your pro-Black womanness also is a facade. You spent all these years saying, why do y'all have Cardi B's back? I'm a Black woman. She's not even Black. Black is not just hereditary. It's not just heritage. It's culture. It's behavior. And if I have to choose between Cardi and Nicki when it comes to pro-Blackness, I think it's very clear whose side I'm on, based on facts, not opinions. Cardi B is fighting with y'all every day to let her claim her Blackness while Nicki's doing everything in her power to attack ours. I don't respect it. All right. Love y'all. This is supposed to be a short live. Well, it's only half of what we usually do, right? Because if I didn't have this meeting, I would be going on for 2 more hours. I actually got to run now. I love y'all so much. I cannot wait to see the comments around this one. Please like, share, and subscribe because this is an important conversation. And unfortunately, Nicki's just getting started with us. All right, I gotta go. Bye, family.